Welcome back to the Manor. Entropians, Julian McBain here, and today we are going to be doing a 100 PED hunt at the Royal Club. Before we really get started, for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome to the Manor. Please take a moment to go down and subscribe. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscriber at a time. Okay, so let's get started. So last time I played, wow, that's so much easier with LP30. Last time I played, I was out here hunting, and I decided that it would be time to do a controlled cost hunt to see what loot is like on a land area. And I know that there are players who don't like hunting land areas because of the tax, which is understandable. You know, it feels like there's an extra 4%. Whoa. Probably help if I was actually wearing my armor. Oh my god. I've been sweating. And when you sweat, you don't wear armor. Well, obviously, my skills are not to the point where they should be if I'm going to be doing no armor hunts of level 12s. So if you give me a moment... Oh my god. That's embarrassing. So let's put that ghost armor on. Much better. Oh, and you know what? We should probably pop one of these. I'm running low on them for the first time, like, ever. Well, my deposits lately have all been based on strongbox keys, which went okay. I think I'm going to stick to regular deposits for the most part, but for some reason, I couldn't resist those summer strong boxes, and good stuff came out of them. I was able to sell off the rifle amps I got because I won't use them. And I was able to use the melee amps because they're kick-ass. Anything that gives me, like, regen for doing leech. In WoW, we called it leech. Anything that gives me a leech is good in my book. Oh my god. Why would it give me 3 categories of shrap? 2 I understand. It means that I wasn't high enough level for something, but that was 3, which means there were several items that I'm not high enough. And I'm a level 20 animal looter. Come on. Okay, maybe not you. There we go. So I really wanted to break down, you know, how a hunt goes on an owned land area. Because I honestly think that you get a little more loot hunting an owned land area than you do Calypso proper. Because I think the taxes are actually lower than Calypso proper. And I know a lot of people will be scratching their heads because Calypso does not have a published tax rate. But I know for a fact that the PED that goes into the repair terminals for Mindark, which is how they pay their people, isn't enough to keep their servers running. You know, and there are a few theories out there. I like to quote Lorespade on this because he's the one I've really heard talk about it. He thinks that there's a 10% tax on Calypso proper. I'm not sure it's quite that high. If you compare, like, Monria, which has 0 tax, like a published 0 tax rate, versus Calypso, I don't think it's 10%, but I can see between 5 and 6. And shaving even 1% off of that can make a difference. Not only that, but I like hunting land areas because it supports other players. And that may seem a little strange. You know, why would I want to support other players? But here's the thing. It encourages players to play. It encourages the in-game economy, which is a true economy. You know, it's not a model economy like in World of Warcraft or in Final Fantasy because they use an artificial monetary system. In Entropia universe, we have a digital currency. And because you can withdraw from it, it has an actual value. And so I like the idea that, you know, the more contributors to an economy there are, the more level the prices are, the better it is for everyone. Which means if we do things that support other players, they are more likely to encourage other players to join. You won't get all the naysayers out there saying it's a fucking scam, which it's not. It's just that if you understand economic systems and watch how the economy in this game works, and understand that, you know, after making taking certain things into account, right? Because there are things in Entropia universe you don't deal with in real life, and there are things in real life you don't deal with in Entropia universe. For instance, in Entropia universe, you don't have to pay rent to stay alive. You don't need to buy food. You're not paying for lights. But you do have to, Mindark does have to find a way to pay for its shit, like keeping their servers running and cool, paying their developers to make this game even more kick-ass than it already is. And so, if you trade what we as humans have to survive for what Mindark has to survive, on a percentage basis, it's about the same. Actually, it's less. Because I think Mindark only takes 5 to 6% to do that, plus repair costs. Whereas for the average human being, it's about 50% of our income on a good day. For the majority of us. You know, some of us do things to mitigate that, like live with roommates or family, or you're married and you have, you know, shared with a spouse, anything like that. But realistically, if you're making under 250,000, probably roughly anywhere between 30 and 60% of your income is going toward basic necessities. US. Sorry, I forgot that this is I have worldwide reach, which kind of surprised me, although I'm finding viewers in Spain and in Germany, and I want to thank everyone who visits my channel. But I live in the US, so that's the benchmark I can use. If you're making less than probably $250,000 US, anywhere between 30 and 60% of your income is probably going into some sort of form of necessities. Now, true, the more you're making, the more lavish the necessity is. You know, you can buy a bigger house with $250,000 a year as opposed to, you know, $50,000 a year or $30,000 a year. Someday I hope to see what that looks like. Not there yet. But because we don't have that, we trade that for Mindark keeping their stuff running properly. So the rest of the economy works like any other economy. We're just paying for the more commoditized items. You know, in real life, we wouldn't go through weapons the way we do here. At least not in theory, but as anyone can tell you who has to use a weapon on a regular basis, these things wear down. Now, for the purposes of a video game, that timetable may be accelerated, but we're also not paying hundreds of dollars per unit. Generally speaking. And the higher the TT value of the weapon, the longer it takes to decay. And then you put amps and all that other stuff on it, and it just takes even longer. You know, as you all know, I'm a fencer, and I do fencing instruction. In fact, I've got to give lessons later today. It is Sunday morning. I'll be releasing this the day that I produce it. A sword blade, which has to be changed out roughly once every 2 to 3 years, will cost anywhere between $70 and $180, depending on the length of the blade, the maker of the blade, the quality of the steel. And the better the quality, the less likely you're going to end up having the decay on the sword create some sort of critical fault or have a sudden failure. For instance, the forge that I use is fairly entry level. I can get a sword blade there for under $100. And I use them because, you know, right now I can't afford the blade that I really want. The blade I really want, actually, I'd have to buy a whole new sword because hilts are actually designed around sword blades. And I hope I haven't lost half my audience at this point, but I'm trying to make a point. The sword I really want is going to cost me about $600 to $700. The blade on that sword has a life of about 5 years. The blade itself costs about $150. So, well, 125 actually, I think. So, the blade I'm paying $25 a year for. Then you have the hilt, which lasts forever, and all of the other accoutrements, and they're very decorative, and they're all hand forged. So you got to put the craftsman fee in there, right? Because if you're paying a craftsman to create something pretty, you're not going to pay them something you'd buy the same price as something you would buy at Walmart, which you can't buy swords at Walmart, but you get my point. Mass market discount product. Come on. So therein it lies, you know. I buy a $70 blade, I usually expect it to last 3 years. I'm paying about $25 a year. It all pretty much levels out. Same thing with Entropia Universe. You know, I was on the auction, I bought this LB30. It cost me 75 PED at $7.50. When I buy LB30s, they last me, depending on how much hunting I'm doing, I can usually do, well, when I was doing migration, I was going through 3 or 4 days of 2 hours a day hunting before the blade would run out with the amp. Actually, I would usually have to repair the amp a couple of times before the blade itself went. So that tells you something. And the cost I'm talking about is actual markup cost, because these things have, what, 65? Yeah, these things have a 65 PED TT value. It'd be kind of nice to get a global at this point. We all know how the law of decay works. We're getting a good chunk back. The loot so far has not been terrible, but not great. Oh yeah, there's 2 of them. I love how the respawn always shows up after I shoot the guy I'm going, you know, at distance. It's like, you couldn't have attacked me 3 seconds sooner, you bastard. But yeah, that's why I like to hunt on... That's why I believe that it's important to hunt owned land areas. It's because it encourages more players to play. Because if players can earn something out of this, they're going to want to play the game. And the players that want to play the game to make money know that they're going to... With any form of intelligence, know they're going to have to spend money to get there first, because they've got to earn their way. You have to build the skills up, and that takes cash. Or it takes time. You can play for free. You can absolutely play for free. Now, I just spent a couple of weeks, and maybe it was 1 full week. It was a little longer than a week, because I think I started last weekend. I've been sweating. I've been doing a lot of sweating, actually, here at Royal Club, on this side of the Royal Club's land areas. I've been doing a lot of sweating lately. Just to be able to play for free a little bit, to kind of reduce the amount that I put in. And for a bunch of time, but not too unreasonable, because I just, you know, play in my spare time, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I got 9 PED. It's not huge. It's a lot of time for not huge. The difference is there's no cash outlay for it. So if a player's willing to take the time and not pay, and they don't want to pay the money, they can do it the old-fashioned way and grind their way. And honestly, I think that more people need to do it this way, because I think it would help them earn some patience. I know my son needs to do it, but then again, he's 11, so I don't know any 11-year-olds with patience. He's getting better, though. Like, you know, we go to fencing practice every Sunday, and he does his lessons with the marshal, the youth marshal, because theoretically I could teach him. But it's hard for me to teach family. Like, there are certain things I will teach him when he's older. My style's a little more difficult if you have never fenced before. Because it relies on pre-knowledge of how body mechanics and swords work. In fact, the rule for my school is a person has to be fencing for a year before they can take lessons in it. So, or it's not a hard and fast rule, but it's a heavy suggestion, because every scarf can make their own, within reason, can make their own rules on how they take apprentices, or cords as we call them, which are closer to Padawans than they are to true apprentices. To make the Star Wars reference. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying this, but the whole idea of the Padawan's about the only good thing that came out of the prequel trilogy. So, now that I've lost half my viewership, he goes and he learns from the youth marshal there, and then, I teach my student. You would get stuck on a frickin' sapling, wouldn't ya? This idiot. Jeez. Well, I guess these aren't so much saplings, but they're stupid tall. I wonder if I could cut these things down. Probably not. I don't know if you can cut lumber on an LA. Okay, and we're getting low on ammo now. Down to about 16 PED. Wow, 100 PED doesn't last like it used to, folks. It's interesting. I remember when a 100 PED hunt used to be like an hour, or at least half an hour, Back in the days when I was wielding an LB10, now you wield an LB30, and it's like, yep, here's your 15 minutes. Although, admittedly, I cycle a lot more ammo than I used to. Especially when I'm on other planets. You cycle through it, and you just keep going. But I don't have to buy weapons nearly as often. Okay, we're gonna start making our way back. Oh, you bastard. We're gonna start making our way back to the teleporter. I know I could be anywhere on the map and hit T and make it there, but eh. The shining beacon of the teleporter shooting straight into space. Irony? You can't get to space from there. Oh, you're running low on ammo when your rifle doesn't have 100 shots left in it. Yeah, I might need to hop using the Sleipnir. I want to know how these Berry Clutter are just hauling around boards. Are they like Hork-Bajir from the Animorphs? Who here remembers the Animorphs? You know, they were basically walking salad shooters, and then everyone found out that their favorite meal is bark. Everyone thought they were these big predators, and they were just peaceful plant eaters with blades everywhere to cut bark off of trees. Which I thought was actually pretty brilliant of K.A. Applegate. I might not have enough ammo to kill all 3 of these. I might have to cycle some. That wasn't in the game plan. You fucker. Now I know I'm going to have to cycle ammo. I suppose I could turret them. Yeah, let's do that. Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Wearing ghost armor, carrying a sword. Oh, there's 3 of you now. Well, very well then. Come get me. Ow. I have a Gatling gun with your name on it up ahead. Thank you, turret. Normally I wouldn't do that, but I'm trying to get a good read on this. So, okay. First, let's start with how much ammo we have left. So, looking at this, we have two PED 80 in ammo remaining. Now, let's look to see what we have for loot. 99.21. So that comes out to 102.01. And then repairs. Whoops. So in this whole run, we lost 6 PED 7. 6 PED 7 pack. Which is realistically nothing. You know, that's easily accounted for in skills. Like, even more than the usual excuse. In a 100 PED run, you only lose 6 pack. I mean, markup on this alone will make that up. So, I'm glad, I'm good with that. I am perfectly satisfied with that. Let's kind of drop everything in the storage. I have so much shit in this, just all this PED locked up in my damn storage terminal. Ugh. Kind of embarrassing, to be honest. No, these things. The reason I keep these things, they have like ridiculous markup, but you need a shitload of them. Like, I've been collecting these since I started. There's so many varied ones, but they have absurd markup. I can't not keep them. But okay, I would call that a very successful hunt. I would. You let me know what you think. Until next time, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. I really appreciate all the support. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, 1 subscriber at a time. Also, please make sure you check out my website, mcbainmanor.com, for articles and stories and other content. And make sure you check out my sponsor, Critical Links, for all of your chainmail jewelry needs. She does a lot of gaming reference stuff, a lot of thematic stuff. If you are into, you know, Overwatch or WoW, or she'll do custom work too. So if you want to do an Entropia themed project, come up with a color scheme that you think, you know, stands for Entropia, and she will do the thing. Okay, guys, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. You all have a wonderful day.